originally, I wasn't going to talk about this entire situation at all, but then I realized this is probably the last TikTok art drama that's ever going to occur, because I live in the US and it gets banned in like 4 days from when I'm recording, and I think it'll be the 19th, like either the day of or after this video goes up. And so here I am talking about a thing I don't really want to, but I'm going to, because sometimes you gotta resist biting the hand that feeds you, or however the saying goes. So an artist on TikTok did something bad, mainly with their drawings, and people are talking about it. Well, more so this happened a while ago now. I always take a week or two to decide if I want to talk about a topic, and this is on theme with that. Before we begin, I'm going to state outright that I'm not going to name this creator, and that's for one main reason. They're a minor. I genuinely believe that this person should go offline for things to get better, and I always ask audiences to refrain from sending hate to a creator, but in this case, I'll refrain from stating any usernames to make it harder for that to happen. For simplicity in this video, I will be referring to them as, we're gonna go with E.T. That's a pun that made about 4 people who are watching laugh, and you know, I'm a bit of an up-and-coming comedian, really. So whenever I do these art video recaps, they always tend to fall under the art lore category. But this one doesn't. It's more so just art drama. It hasn't become a meme or anything, so I won't cover it as such. I typically stay away from just art drama controversies because I think they're really dumb and cringy and annoying, but this one has some specific attributes that I really want to harp on and discuss and state some things about them. In this specific situation, there was an artist that was gaining popularity online. They had 2 really popular original characters, and E.T. made gorgeous edits and animations of them with extreme themes but beautiful art. A lot of these were gacha animations and were really impressive too. The only controversy they faced in this brief period of popularity was that the 2 looked extremely similar, causing some people to believe that the 2 were siblings. They were unforgivably rude to anyone who made those comments, insisting that the 2 are definitely not siblings. Despite that little debacle, this is the most controversial that this artist had gotten up to this point. One day, however, some alarming information came out about E.T. As far as I know, this information all came out mainly from E.T. themselves in their own expose video. One detailing a lot of the things they'd done. They had drawn problematic things in the past and are now under fire for it all. Oh, really, Frommy? You always say that. So, what was it this time? Freaking My Little Pony characters plus size? Ooh! Or maybe some mean drawings to some art students? Wow. So in this case, it was actually necrophilia, zoophilia, and child porn. Yeah, a bit more extreme than the usual controversial artists we cover, no doubt. I need to emphasize something before we cover this all. Once again, this artist is a minor, and that's no excuse for what they did. I have the exact same feelings about it as if an adult would have made it. But I think that the general view and the consequences we should have for E.T. to face should be drastically different based on that fact. For now, let's just view the first apology they rolled out and also the video that started the entire discourse online before we get to some deeper discussion. Oh no, it's one of these.
First, I was the one who actually made this image.
Alright, that's already quite a bit to unpack. So, basically, the person in the middle here is another artist named Bella the Wolf, a notorious rage bait account. They mainly rage bait with religious mockery, and this is a fan art that falls under that. In my opinion, it's not my right to comment under any sort of religious mockery debate. I'm not a part of the church and I don't see myself in it anymore. However, I do know from the time that I was there that a big pillar of Christianity is to see no other person above God. And that's the main point of this fan art. E.T. is claiming to be the creator of this fan art and is apologizing for religious mockery.
I'm really sorry for religion mocking, and I genuinely thought it was funny to make that as a joke to piss people off. I drew that at like 13 years old. I'm 14 now. Until this day I still regret what I've done. I don't know WTF was going through my head literally. I trust myself that I won't do this mistake again. I swear bro, I don't even know the reason I've even drew that piece. I deeply apologize to all of the Christians I've offended. I'm not a Christian myself, but I somehow decide to mock it for no reason at all. I'm really full of pity for that damn action I've done, and I swear I won't do it again, considering I've realized what I did when it was too late.
You know what? That's fine. I like it so far. I find a lot of humor in the "I was 13, now I'm 14" comment. But other than that, sure, you did something bad, you owned up to it, and are apologizing to the community you hurt. I see no issue with.
I've made child corn 3 times in 3 years.
Okay, so this is where issues obviously arise. These arts were made in 2022, 23, and 24. Like some New Year's tradition, I guess. They claim one was made by accident, which is... I also really like the distinction here that only one was accidental. Like, guys, please, I understand. I will never make the mistake of not drawing child
For the accidental one, I hikey didn't know that the OC was a literal minor. Yes, this falls into the Demonica January drama. I was literally just picking OCs out of the blue with zero research purposes included, which led me into making CP without even realizing it.
Okay, you know what? In a sense, that almost kind of makes sense. Like, no, it's still abominable. Okay, like, I get not doing research to know if a character is underage. It's really stupid saying it out loud, but I can see how it happened, you know? Though
the other two being on purpose
is really starting to worry me. Oh, they don't acknowledge it. Okay, you know what? That's perfect for an apology video. A third thing they address is...
I've made zoophilia and necrophilia without realizing it.
Oh, how you test me, TikTok. How? How are you constantly getting yourself into these situations by accident?
Let me make a prime description. There was a made-up ice cream of someone's cat's ashes shoved in a...
Nope, no, I'm not reading that. No, oh my... This is actually what am I doing? I could be going to school. I don't know. I don't think ever drawing an animal in a compromising position can ever be considered accidental. Like, and it's not even Therian or furry grounds. This is someone's entire pet cat. And you drew them in this situation after dying.
The only reason why it was accidental, nobody told me until it was already late. I myself haven't even thought of it as zoo and necro, considering everyone took it as a joke including myself. I'm literally dead ass, nobody even reminded me it was zoophilia. My only knowledge on it was just alive animals getting wrecked by humans, not ice cream ashes getting shoved up someone's puss.
Okay. Lots to unpack here. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on at this point. All I know is someone's dead cat, a real cat, was drawn inappropriately with a person. And no matter how you want to spin that, it's bad. And it's worse because it was done as revenge.
Even if I had no idea it was though, that still doesn't make me a good person. To whoever that was, I'm really sorry I'll even disrespected our dead cat in the first place. It was only meant to be revenge for you making fun of one of my ex-friend's dead cat.
This ties to a point that I'm going to harp on later, but I might as well state it now. None of this is normal for a minor to be aware of. 13 or 14 or even younger maybe, these ages should not be tied to the concept of revenge material, zoo media, necro media, or anything that's been listed above. This is not something normal. Never is it going to be normal for someone below the age of 16 to even be exposed to these topics, let alone understand them so thoroughly to make revenge material out of them. The fact that someone this young is online discussing things like this, making these decisions, is extremely worrying. It's concerning that no outside force has stopped them from doing this. We don't know their situation, if they have parents or legal guardians or how they are under that roof. But at the very least, TikTok should have taken this account down long ago. It's still up, doing just fine despite the content that they've uploaded. It's not just the self-exposed videos, by the way. I'm more so talking about the other videos they've made. I've always had an issue with artists drawing themselves suggestively or making any sort of not safe for work art on their account. They always put in their bio, 16 plus only, knowing damn well that the app is 13 plus. There's nothing stopping someone younger from clicking your profile and seeing that not safe for work content. However, it's a bit different for ET here. ET also posts suggestive content, mainly of the aforementioned OCs. I did find it weird first seeing them since, again, artists on TikTok and not safe for work always bothers me. However, after finding out that they're 14, now I'm even more uncomfortable. TikTok, having done nothing against not safe for work content, especially on a minors page, shows their restrictions and rules are legitimately fucking nothing, despite what their page may say. I'll go into this in more depth later on, but let's just finish this initial apology video. So their fourth point is about their server. I haven't been in it and I don't know much about it. I have one of my own, which you can join by using the link discord.gg/fromeme or checking in the description. But yeah, I have one of my own and it's not easy. I've been criticized for my lack of appearance within it and lack of proper moderation, and it's always been warranted. You can't just own a server and walk away without a trace and leave a few moderators that hopefully check in enough. Rules will be broken and you're going to be responsible because you own it. I can empathize with having an out-of-control server, and I'm not going to say a 14-year-old should have all the skills to run one perfectly. But what I do take issue with is the dilemma ET has with their adult moderator.
I'm really sorry for the people who got banned for no reason. You're the owner. One of my mods is an adult who wanted to cancel me over normal NSFW, and made my server strict ever since. I want to demote them, but oh god, I fear they'll bring back up the video again.
So, to unpack this, first of all, at 14, generally when we're talking about distribution, which is essentially everything that Discord is, distribution of messages, links, images, there is nothing such as normal not safe for work. You should not be in possession of any material like that, let alone the distribution of it, because the distribution of material like that to someone your age can literally get an adult in jail. So taking measures against that seems justifiable in my opinion. And for the second part, if an adult is ever making you feel unsafe, or as if you can't take actions against them, that is why you need to take actions against them. Maybe I'm misreading or not understanding this little paragraph, but that is textbook level extortion if you're in fear of an adult doing something against you. I'm not fully educated on the situation, and all I know is this small summary of it all, and that's the input I personally have for it. The end of this video is a debunk session made for accusations against ET. It briefly mentions the OCs that many confuse for siblings, but more importantly, another claim. The other claim is that they deny grooming somebody else, someone that is 13. They make the claim that someone who's 14 can't groom someone a year younger, which is complicated. I don't know that other person, and generally I don't care about the discourse between two kids. It's not my business. My only input on that is this. The idea that grooming is only about age is pretty toxic. However, it is also important to note that the term is almost always intended for adults trying to manipulate and abuse a minor. It's really tricky when you want to delve into specifics, and again, I don't care much to delve into the lives of minors. All I have to say is that I hope the other individual is okay. I don't know what happened, and again, I'm not going to delve into it, but just everyone who's involved in that, I hope you're okay. Well, that was the first video. General view I have on it is that it's extremely childish. And that's not a bad thing because it literally is made by a child. Language like high key, gang, puss doesn't have room in an apology. But here it is because this is how a child is going to respond. Obviously. It's extremely immature, leaves out a lot of information, and throws blame to the audience in the same minutes that they ask for forgiveness. Is it genuine? Who knows, really. Thankfully, they have a second response. Obviously, this video didn't get much support, so they uploaded a slideshow to try and make up for it. This one has the comments disabled since the first one was bombarded with hate, so we can only assume what audiences say. But let's go through this one now. The first few bits are still just apologizing, which is nice to see. Then they comment on the other two CP pieces that weren't acknowledged before.
I didn't address the other two CP images Elle did, but I am now. For the first one, it was in 2022. Elle was 11 to 12 years old back then. I thought it was funny to me to have a Twitter account dedicated to gotcha NSFW on problematic creators such as Clovey Lavuwu, Belathy Wolf, and Butts for Buddies. I thought it was a good idea for me to make ragebait content ABT NSFW of them. But I didn't know the OC's ages. That still doesn't excuse what I did though. I still did it nonetheless, and it doesn't cover it up. Just because I didn't know ABT the age doesn't make me a good person.
This part confuses me a bit because their reason for the third piece being an accident is not knowing the ages. But the one that was apparently not an accident has the same excuse as that one. If it's true or just lies mixing with truths or whatever, I'm not sure. But this is E.T.'s comment on that one. During this, E.T. comments on their struggles with hypersexuality, which again really concerns me. It's gonna sound weird, but generally it's fine to draw, adult stuff at that age, but keep it to yourself, But especially in this context, struggling with it, and posting it online in context to rage bait as a form of coping, all of that mixed together is just extremely unhealthy. Again, it's a crime for a child to post or have not safe for work media, and mixed with the mental health struggles that they're claiming to have, all of this is just manifesting into a really toxic cycle that shouldn't be public like this. For the other piece of CP they made, they say this.
For the second one, I really don't know if it was considered that or not. The only proof that the specific hawk was JS going to school, it didn't say the rank or anything. I choose random presets to make an SFW out of without any information known about them.
This is also off. It's kind of the Yandere simulator excuse, if you know what I mean. The whole, these students are all over 18 for sure, while they have middle school outfits on. It always has that reek and stench to it, you know what I mean? School uniforms imply at least naivete, and are often used in inappropriate media for the worst reasons you can think of. It might not be intended in this work, but that's why people might have reacted the way that they did. Once again, they apologize for everything, multiple times and much more genuinely than before in my opinion. They apologize for exposing this content to even younger people and promise to change. E.T. talks about their struggles with self-harm and suicidal ideation, which are extremely upsetting to read. A lot of people see this as bait for sympathy, but personally it's genuinely concerning. How people can look at a minor that's clearly going through a lot and being worsened by the internet and still somehow think, this is just for attention and pity now, is really concerning. This isn't some mastermind, it's a child. There's a lot of people who don't see an issue with children on the internet, and, by extension, no issue with their exposure to these things. However, it's important to realize that if it was really fine, there wouldn't be laws against these things. Children shouldn't be exposed to not safe for work themes because of their developmental stage. 16 and up is fine usually, and when it's under control. But 14, and especially 13 and younger, delves into dangerous territory. Exposure to not safe for work content can skew a minor's understanding of relationships, sexuality, and consent. And when they're exposed to these topics, it can exacerbate feelings like fear, depression, or insecurity, especially if that minor doesn't have the support or tools to process these emotions. E.T. is aware of the danger they're facing going through all these issues at just the age of 14 and shows some desire to change. As they said, they don't deserve to be harassed or doxxed. That never helps anyone. The only part I have left to address is the end of the slideshow.
I'm really sorry for not knowing there's groomers in my server too, considering. Have a high member count. I'm talking about my members in general. You're friends with one of the groomers. I know about that, but in my opinion I'll think you're just accusing them. Considering you suddenly said this with an evidence included, but I'm sorry for that. I can stop being friends with them if you want to, for your own benefit. I hope you guys can forgive me. But I don't think we'll go back to normal. I've done enough shatters that's unrepairable. I'm sorry, really sorry for everything I did, and I promise I won't do it ever again. I've been trying to change but nobody will let me, but I'll hope you guys can let me change.
This, again, extremely worrying. And all of this, in my opinion, really has one solution in my mind. Get off the internet. This server is ruined, and if it really is filled with groomers, you need to delete it. As well, if you are being pulled away from a point of growth by people online, you really need to just log off for a while. I can only throw so many sympathy points out for ET when they make the active decision to stay online with so many toxic people around them. You don't have to stay friends with the groomer. You shouldn't even have to be near one. You shouldn't have to make that choice at all. Even if it's just an accusation, for your own safety, stay away from that individual. You're 14, being so public with everything you have, the inappropriate things, the comments on your mental health, the issues you're facing, it won't help. It won't garner you sympathy or magically change you, not when you're flooded with comments and people that are either berating you for your worst traits or encouraging them. It sounds hard, and it will be. But for your own sake, all you can do is log off. I'm personally not as deep into this drama as a lot of people are. I'm more of an outsider than anybody. Art drama communities always turn me off. The only person I'm even slightly close to within it all is Bray Draws. So I'm not familiar with most, if any, of the artists involved in this at all. I know another artist called Nyoka got into a bunch of drama in connection to and following the ET stuff. But again, I really just don't care. I wanted to cover this because it's something I do care about. I don't think children should be online if they're going to be exposed to things like this, and I think it's really important for ET to find a real and healthy support system to help them. Their apologies and everything they've said is childish, but again, that's entirely sensible due to them being a child. Making CP and Revenge Necrozoo abomination babies at 11 through 13 isn't normal. Oh, and this is completely my fault. I forgot to record this, but I think any adults that are near ET and only know them over the internet should get the fuck away from them. And any outsider viewing in that is like actually bullying ET, harassing ET, you know, again, those doxing claims, need to also get a fucking life, cause that's just pathetic and embarrassing. Again, ET's just 14. There is no need to be the way that you are and responding that way to the situation. I think there are definitely things that we can criticize, but actually treating them the way that they have been treated is actually really upsetting and disgusting. I'm sorry if I forgot to mention that earlier. I'm trying to do it now and the audio's worse and funky, but there's my 2 cents on that. I know ET has a 1% chance of hearing anything I've said, but I still hope it gets through, even if just a bit. And if not to them, then to anyone who's watching in that age range that also needs a wake-up call. Being online and exposed to serious themes like this doesn't mean you're mature for your age, or edgy, or cool, or whatever you've been told. It's simply dangerous. All of this is dangerous. But, I mean, I was online when I was 10 and I came out just fine, so what harm is there really, right? Right?
Take off your idols, take off the runway, take off the Cairo, take off the sandal, pay 5 days stay, take up for the meal and the follow. Take off the fuck flag, take off perception, take off the cop with the iPad, take off the huddle, take off the unsure, take off decisions I had.